Yes, Sirski.
Mm,
Blackout hour has returned.
yes.
It's a new week. How you feeling, my brother?
Feeling great. How you doing? No apology. We'll get to it. Hard to be a Cole fan right now, yo. Hard to be a Cole fan. Broke my heart. Mm,
Tough times. Tough
what
times
can
in
you
hip
do?
hop. Tough
Yep.
times in hip hop. We ain't issuing no apologies though. No, that's not gonna happen. I'll tell you that much.
Not 3 days after the diss. Maybe a year later, I had some reflections after the victory, but you got to beat the Daywalkers first. All the little zombies.
Oh man. But welcome back to Blackout, ladies and gentlemen. This is a show that we wanted to put together. And the theme is unfiltered, uncut.
Yep.
It allows us to speak freely, and it's an opinion-based show, and it touches on topics that are outside the realm of regularly scheduled programming that we talk about on Market Mondays and EYL. So that's a disclaimer early,
Yes.
right? To let you know that this is for entertainment purposes only. We are diverse in our content, and we're not pigeonholed to just talking about stock options. So this is for entertainment purposes only, ladies and gentlemen. Take everything with a grain of salt. But if you listen hard enough, you will learn some things, because we may tell you a joke, we will never tell you a lie. The show is not suitable for children. This is why it's at 10 o'clock at night. So if a child is watching, please put them to bed. And it's also not suitable for sensitive men, which there seems to be an abundance of those. Plentiful.
Ladies, I'm sorry y'all got to deal with that too.
And it's also not suitable for entitled women, right? We have to be equal opportunists here. So this is not suitable for children of all ages under 18, sensitive men, and entitled women.
Shout out to my old babies that was entitled.
Entitlement is the biggest drug known to man.
Yep.
Let's start the show off with that, actually, off script. Entitlement, right? Like, how does entitlement? I really feel like it's a disease of the heart and minds, right?
Yeah.
When you think that you are entitled, like, remember Drake had that song with Timbaland, and he said, it's crazy when somebody else's success brings pain.
Yep.
Like, that's real, right? When somebody can actually look at you, and you worked your whole life, you've worked 15-hour day shifts, and you've been able to accomplish certain things, right? And they look at you like, okay, since you're able to accomplish certain things, since you're able to afford certain things, by default, I should have what you have, or you should just give me things.
Share with me. Yeah.
Just because, right? And then if you don't, then your success brings somebody else's pain, because now it's an envy, and they're looking at you like, I actually hate this person because he's successful.
It's tough, man. Everything has to be earned, though. I've dealt with it on the business end. I've dealt with it on the relationship side, but everything has to be earned. And I've learned too. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. You got to be around people that have things going on that are continuously elevated, so that kind of entitlement is not around. But everyone in my circle knows I'll give it to you, but you have to earn it. There's no more handouts. I'm good. Relationship side or business side, I'm good.
Well, the dangerous thing about entitlement is that the more you help a person, the more you're hurting a person, right? That's the flip side to the coin that nobody seems to understand. It's like, a lot of times you think that you're actually helping a person, you're actually hurting them, because you're enabling them, right? And you're doing things for them that they don't deserve, and that they don't even fully understand. Like, sometimes people, they don't even fully understand what they're receiving. So how can you have an appreciation for something when A, you didn't deserve it, and B, you don't even understand it? So now you're actually creating a monster, right? So sometimes it's like, by not doing something for somebody, it could seem painful in that moment, but you're actually helping them, because now you're actually forcing them to figure it out on their own. You're forcing them to actually do work. You're actually forcing them to actually critically think,
Be a better person. Yeah.
as opposed to just giving it to them, right? And it's like you're enabling them, and that's going to actually hurt them in the long run. So that's something to think about for anybody that's in a relationship, when you're dealing with children, when you're dealing with friends, business partners. Be extremely careful of this disease called entitlement, because it literally can ruin the whole entire situation.
Yeah. Duval keeps coming up every episode, but that's one of Duval's quotes. Like, sometime you'll give a person something and you will get out of God's way. Like, there's a lesson that they needed to learn in the hardship and suffering. My dad used to tell me that back in the day, and I didn't want to hear that shit, but I'm like, thank God you made me go through every lesson that I needed to be able to get here, opposed to some people who may have gotten help along the way too much and now they're crippled. So yeah, we got to end the entitlement.
All right. That was a way to start the show, just impromptu.
Yeah.
Something that came to my mind randomly.
Anybody got a mind?
Hey, I got a few people in mind.
You name three, I'll name three. The big three. Hey.
Big three.
Hey, it happens. Also, too, like, for all my givers, like, over giving because you didn't receive when you were young is a trauma response. Heal from it. Like, you may want to do good for people, but I'm learning to, like, do good for those who do good to you. Like, I have adults ask me for amounts of money that my kid has never asked me for. It's like, Xander's never asked me for this. Like, we've never, as business partners and friends, never, can I get 14 grand? Like, what?
But the crazy thing about it is that there's two types of people in this world. There's hustlers and go-getters who it would take everything possible for them to ask somebody for something. Like and then there's another type of person that they'll ask somebody for something on the wake up, like they have no problem asking for something.
That's their hustle too.
Right.
Yeah.
So the go-getters and the hustlers, if they're down in luck and you help them out, they're going to be so appreciative that they probably will never ask you for anything ever again.
Yeah.
Now, the other person, the problem with giving the other person something also is that you're never going to be able to give them enough. Because, like, if you give them $10,000, right, they're going to run through it. They're going to blow it. Yeah. Because they didn't work for it. They don't have an appreciation for it. And they're takers by nature. So then 3 weeks later, they're going to ask for another 10,000. It's a constant. And then it's like, now I need 15,000. Now I need 20,000. Oh, now I need 30,000. And it's like, you put yourself in a spiral that can never really be solved, because it's not like the person was disciplined enough to actually do something with the money. They don't have the characteristics of a hustler. Like, if you give somebody that's really knows what they're doing a sum of money, they're going to bring it back and give you more than interest on it, right? These type of people, you give them money, they're going to blow it. They're not going to do anything productive with it. And then they're going to be in a situation where they need money again. So it's an ongoing cycle of destruction when you start to just give people money. I'm telling you. So just be careful, ladies and gentlemen, when you're in the world, to decipher between those two people. Yeah. The givers and the takers. The givers and the takers.
One of the oldest stories in the book. Also, too, it's something I know y'all gonna say I'm pandering, but if a man asks me for money, I want to see what that child support look like and see if you're in arrears first. It'll tell me all I need to know.
Yeah, for sure.
If you want to take care of your kids, you're not giving me my money back. You don't love me that much. Sorry. I don't want the J. Cole apology, bro. I should have paid you back on the 5th day, but nah. Then I'll see you in Turks. No go.
That's a fact. That's a fact, man. And I always tell the time, if you can't be broke and bored, that's a B&B. It's a dangerous combination.
Big facts.
Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense.
That's too much to do to be bored in the world.
How can you be broke and bored? Right? If you're broke, you gotta be up and out. Like,
get into it.
Find a job, deliver newspapers, cleaning bathrooms. Like, your day should be filled from the time you wake up to the time you fall asleep, trying to figure it out. Yeah. Because it's like, I don't understand how you can have leisure. That's what the whole point is, to earn your leisure, right?
Even if you're rich, you shouldn't be bored. The money can go away. Mike Tyson went through 300 million.
That's a fact. Like, you can't be broke
You can't be bored, yo, or boring. Oh my God. Go home.
And as a man, I'm talking to, like, as a man, right? Like, as a man, nah, I'm not jacking that. I'm not feeling that at all. I don't want it. You shouldn't be watching college basketball games. You shouldn't be doing nothing unless you can actually take care of yourself and then take care of your family. Like, so take that into consideration and do what you want with it, but don't be broken bored.
Who bothered you today? Hey, yo, what you think about what Gene Deal said for the 19th time? Hey, bro.
Usual suspects, man. But let's talk about this DM situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you go from DM to date flawlessly? So
you the king.
No, previously, past life.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a blueprint, right? And I'm not in this world anymore. So
really.
Stop. I'm not in this.
What we doing? What are we doing?
This guy's great. So the DM, I'm just saying, as far as like
in a previous life to how you got here.
In a previous life, for sure.
Yeah.
Allegedly. So right. So there's etiquette, there's DM etiquette, right?
Yes.
And what I would do, I would never just randomly find somebody on my explore page and just go in their DM like, hey,
that's nasty.
Let's go to dinner Thursday. I'll be in Atlanta. Like, who does that? A lot of people do that though, right?
Nasty.
So you always got to put yourself in the best situation to win in life, right? That's my theory on business, and that's my theory relationships. That's my theory everything. Put yourself in the best situation to win. So I don't want to go after just anybody, right? I want to go after, in business, what we call like a motivated client already, somebody that's already kind of motivated. A warm lead.
Yes.
Warm lead for sure.
Yes.
So I'll look through my followers to see who's actually following me, right?
Mm.
Because if you took the time to follow me, then that lets me know that I'm at least on your radar. Doesn't mean that you like want me, but I'm on your radar, right?
Yeah.
So it's not completely random. But that's not the only thing I'll do. Then I'll say, okay, let's see the engagement that this person has, right? Does this person like my pictures? Okay, if you like my pictures, then that's a one step further.
Yeah.
Right. It's one step further, but I need a little bit more confirmation on this situation. So now I go through my stories to be like, okay, are you watching my story? Who's watching my story?
It helps.
Now you start to filter it down, right? From 400,000. Yeah, it's like you got 100,000 followers, and you don't have to have 100,000 followers. You can have whatever, but I'm just using this as an example. 100,000 followers, you only reach 10% of your followers, right? So only 10% of your followers actually even see your post to like it. So now the 100,000 goes to 10,000 qualified people, right? And probably out of that 10,000, 5,000 are women, let's just say. So now it's 5,000, right? But in your story, consistently, you're only probably seeing 500 people. 500
people, yeah.
Like, so now you really, like, these are the people that are really interested in what you do. Right? Whether it's men or women, I'm just saying that they're interested in what you do over and above you just posting and then randomly seeing it every once in a while. Like, these are people that have taken a vested interest. How the algorithm works is that you only see the stories of the person that you're really engaged with, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's a million people's stories that you don't see. Like, if you scroll all the way to the other side. So now I'm looking at the stories, right? So I'm like, okay, let me look at this story. See, so now if I notice a pattern that somebody's watching my stories on a regular basis, now this is a time when you can actually take it as a green light. If somebody likes one of your stories, that's even better. But even if they don't, now you can take this as a green light. So what do? You still don't just randomly go into the DM like Rambo. That's ill-advised. That's ill-advised. What I would do if I was in that world, allegedly,
clean up
previously.
Yep.
I would, maybe engage, like a couple photos on the main page just to kind of
hard-eyed the story back. What you doing?
Huh?
You putting hard eyes on her story too?
I'm getting there. I would like a couple profile pics first, right?
Gotcha.
Like, I don't go back 57 weeks.
That's wild, but that's nasty.
That means you're a stalker.
Stop it. Yep.
That means you're a stalker, right?
But
if somebody does that to you, that means that's the green light. If you see somebody that goes back 57 weeks on your page and likes more than 3 posts,
also could be muy loca, but still a good sign of interest though. I've been there.
A little crazy is not bad. It's a lot of crazy that
got you. Good point.
So okay, so
you
now
preaching tonight. Go ahead.
In a previous life. So now it's like, okay, so now what I would do is the next step is I would, go through your stories on a regular basis. I would kind of like look at your stories, and I would pick one story in particular that I can leave a non-threatening type of, non-committal type of reply to, right? That in the event you're not interested, or I'm not playing myself, right?
Gotcha.
So like if you let's say you was in Aspen, right? You put Aspen in your stories or something. I'd be like, damn, I just left skiing. I just was skiing last week, like sprained my ankle. Like, be careful. So now it's like you can't screenshot that. You can't try to embarrass me. You can't say,
it's sad you even got to think of that. So you end up on Shade Room.
Like exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Like
you got to be worried. Yep.
Got to be mindful. So let's just keep it something that, okay, you know what I'm saying? And then your response will tell me how I go next. So if you respond back, well, first, it's a few ways how you can respond. You can read it and not reply at all. Then that's over, right?
That's
I'm not gonna. Don't ever play yourself and double
or quadruple. Some of them be quadruple replying.
Back, I've seen some of these messages. I've seen some.
I want to call some of y'all out, yo. Stop
screenshots. If you get left on red, look, it happens to the best.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah,
it happens. But what should never happen is that you double or triple back on. And now you have 3 consecutive red messages. Now you're a stalker, and you should have a restraining order put on you because I don't trust you. I wouldn't trust you if you have. If somebody's seen a DM,
it's not that serious, yo.
And you know that because it says red, and you go and you leave another DM. Congratulations, you played yourself.
Some of y'all be doing that shit for 2 semesters. I'm like, quit. Could have graduated Cal Berkeley. All that effort you put in, stop.
Fact. So if that happens, then it's over. Don't worry, move on. If she replies, but it's one of these laugh out loud, like a random one word, like okay, laugh out loud can be taken a few ways. It depends. You got to kind of play it by ear. But if you leave her like a sentence and she says no, okay, yes. Yeah. That's just the same as a red. Let it go. Let it go, my boy. Yep. Move on. There's other fish in the sea. Now, here's where we get interesting. If she responds back and asks you a question, right? Oh, laugh out loud. How long were you out there for? Oh, when'd you go skiing? Now let's play. Now we playing tennis.
And how quick she responds too. If she take 15 minutes to reply, no. But the instant DM, baby, real quick, 30-second reply.
Now, if she responds with an emoji, that's your golden. Now you're gold. If she responds back with some words and then like a smiley face with the with the
heart out,
the heart out, you forget about it. You're out of here. Now you're golden. Now you're golden. Now you can escalate this at your own risk. As far as the speed that you want to escalate it, right? But one thing about this escalation is that you can say anything as long as you put LOL at the end. That's an old school rule right there.
True.
That's the old school rule. That's the.
We may have to clip something up and put it up. Go ahead.
So, like, if you want to test the waters, and you're not 100% sure, you could pretty much push lines pretty far.
Big fast.
Just to make sure you put LOL at the end.
Yep.
Because LOL changes everything. It's going to change everything. Because if it's 2 ways how this is going to play out. Either she's going to be with it, and then it's like, oh yeah, okay, let's go. Or you can always be like, nah, I'm just joking. That's why I put LOL. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not to be taken seriously. This is just jokes, Written by
Written by
85.
85 South.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Got a little getaway.
So if you follow those rules, you'll be on your way to be an all-star player out here and master the game of DM. So that was just my quick tutorial on DM etiquette, and it could be used for both genders, but I'm just speaking from a man perspective, obviously, because that's what I know. But don't be a creep. Don't be a creep.
Yeah.
And just be careful with putting yourself out there, because we are in a day and age of snapping photos of DMs, and you don't want to get caught doing something that is embarrassing.
Wake up on Jasmine brand, ruin your whole day.
Jasmine.
Be easy. Be cool.
How do you feel? How do you feel about my DM etiquette?
Fire. I do the same thing. I go through, see who like to comment. Better if they already been in my comments. Oh my God, like, my commander, you so smart. What's up, baby? Oh my God, your assessment on Tesla, you so. Hey. Got one. When are we kicking it? Let's get to it. So
let's get to it. How do you ask for the first date? Like, what's your move? I walked you through my process, but eventually somebody's got to ask somebody, like, let's meet up, right? What's your meetup? What's your meetup proposal?
When do you want to vibe?
That's what you say?
When do you want to vibe?
When do you want to vibe? I ain't never heard that, but that's
that way I'll put it in their court, no pressure. And if a person have interest, they're gonna be like, usually whenever you want to, or these dates are available. I'm super picky in who I even talk to and send a DM to. So like, if I'm coming with the energy, I'm coming with it because I fuck with you off top, right? But by the time we get there, I'm like, when you want to vibe? What you want to do? So I got interest, she got interest.
So you don't even throw out what you could be vibing on. It's just,
oh, they know I'm the vibe though. They seen what I did with old girl last year. What? What? Year for that? What?
The year before.
They go back and do their Googles, y'all.
That's a fact. They do their research.
Yeah,
they definitely do their research.
No boring dates. I saw a little thing pop up like dinner, not a date. That's crazy, but I think you need to have some entertaining dates if you want to take somebody out.
Somebody said dinner is not a date?
Yeah, I think it just popped up on Justin LeBoy thing like an hour ago. I think it was for clickbait.
Yeah.
But, yeah. It's all about the energy between the people, though. For sure. That's the biggest thing. Fellas, don't force the date if the energy is not reciprocated. If she's not as excited as you are, you can't go.
Let me ask you this. Switching gears. What are the top Ponzi schemes in the world? Ponzi.
Number one, fractional reserve lending. So shout out to all the banks. I love y'all. I appreciate you. JP Morgan, Bank of America, let me cape. Vanguard, protect me.
Talk about that.
Yeah. More like if a bank receives $1 in, they're able to lend out 10 more. And if any other business did that, I think it would be framed as a Ponzi. But for banking or institutions, it's not. I think it's part of the reason why we have a credit crisis in the United States of America. I know it's been put in the act by legislation. Kudos to the Federal Reserve. I want no smoke. But if any other business had one asset, but they took payments on 9 others, I think we would get in trouble. So that's one of the top ones. And we can go into insurance, but I don't want to upset the entire financial world. So I'm just lean on fractional reserve lending. I think there needs to be a change to that in the upcoming century if we're going to continue to have $2 or $3 trillion worth of debt in the U.S. What about you? I know you want to name my boy, but please don't.
Allegedly. Wow, the biggest Ponzi schemes in the world.
Music industry too. If we go do actual accounting on album sales and what artists are getting paid, like take the Kendrick Cole Drake beef out of that, right? How can art, like I saw a video of Keith Murray essentially being homeless. Not that Keith was the biggest artist, but he at least went gold. To move 500,000 units in a business, if you move 500,000 units, you probably make $25 million. How the fuck is he homeless now at 48 or whatever age he is? And all the stuff that's going on in that business, and like take Puff out of it, but Sugar's locked up. Jay Prince is quieter. They got rid of Irv. Iveen sold off to Apple. Geffen's quiet. We never seen a picture of Lucian. This shit is spooky. Like, and then they got their hands in Daniel's pockets at Spotify for 25% of the company, and nobody says anything.
Well, you know, the biggest Ponzi scheme in the world is, I mean, the economic system of the world. I won't even say America, of the world. Because if you think about it, no country really has their currency backed by anything tangible, right? So
Yeah.
in a Ponzi scheme,
Yeah.
you know, you would give me money
Mm-hmm.
to invest, right? And then I would give you a set percentage off of that money while taking other people's money. And I get somebody else's, I get Troy's money, and I'm paying you a percentage of Troy's money with,
Yep.
and then it's an ongoing thing, right? And it actually works out. The only problem is when you want all of your money. When everybody wants all of their money. That's how the Bernie Madoff thing fell apart, right? During the Great Recession. Now he ran this thing for like 30 years, but during the Great Recession, people were stressed financially, so now they wanted to take lump sums. He didn't have enough reserves, and they collapsed. So I mean, if you think about it, America, right? We print money. It's just a printing system, right? It doesn't really mean anything. It only means something because we have faith in the government, and it's backed
and
by
the military.
I was about to say it's backed by the military.
Yeah.
But you'll never be in a position to actually withdraw all of it, right? Even if you go to the bank, you can't really take all of your money out the bank, right? You have to wait 5 days, and if you have, like, let's say, millions of dollars in the bank, you wouldn't even
make an appointment for an appointment.
But you wouldn't even be able to get it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like this whole system is working off of debt, right? They're borrowing money. They're printing money that is not backed by anything. Borrowing money from China, right? Not allowing you, said customer, to ever really access your money. It's just like, trust me, I'm good for it. I'll give you part of it. You give me $1 million, you can take out $50,000.
Yep.
The rest of it, just chill. And then they discourage you. Why would you want to take out all your money? That's a bad idea. Like,
that's how about some of y'all be getting finesse when you actually see that phone. Why you need to even see?
even if, yeah, exactly. Now
Same move.
But even if you tried to pull out, let's say you put $1 million in your bank account, right? And now you go to the bank and you say, I want $700,000 in cash. Hey, you won't be able to get it.
You're not getting it. And
not only that, they will open an inquiry about you'll hit the FBI.
Oh, yes.
You'll hit the FBI radar. It's your money.
Or is it?
Exactly.
Once it's deposited and they're the custodian, is it technically yours?
Exactly. That's why. That's the biggest Ponzi scheme in the world, and there's no alternative. What else are you going to do? Hide the money under the mattress? That's not a good idea.
Can't. A lot of places not even taking cash.
So what can you do, right? It's like you're limited with your options, right? So it's one of these things, and it's like it's always a doomsday situation until it happens. In Greece a few years ago, during the Great Recession, there was a run on the banks. People wanted to, and what did they do? They locked the doors.
Yeah.
They closed
literally.
The bank. They closed the bank.
Got armed guards out there. Like, oh my God, the markets went crazy. Swiss franc shot up. That was a big collapse that nobody really talks about. And it hasn't been a recovery since. And I keep saying, if you look from 2008, most of those companies did not recover, and neither did our economy. That's when we switched over to a gig economy. Like, remember when we were growing up, like if you went to school, you were like guaranteed a job. Now it's like you have to make your own income regardless of how much education you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and it's one of these things that nobody ever thinks about, like, oh, that can't happen over here. Like I said, I mean, it's not just a random country. We're talking about, a quote unquote first world country, right? That this happened to. It's not just some random country, a random island off the coast of, Antarctica. This is a established country. It's in the EU. And this happened in modern time a few years ago.
It wasn't that long ago. It was a stone's throw away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about
JP Morgan, Chase, Ally, everyone, Vanguard, BlackRock, Larry Fink. How are you, my brother? Come to our aid, please. I can hear our parents now. Why y'all talking about the banks? I know. We done. JP Morgan, come to our aid. Appreciate you.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that in this day and age, men have become very comfortable having long form dialogue about other men, right? What do you think is the root cause of this? And why have we normalized this? Like we've normalized this in society where it's not even a thing to even bat an eye at anymore. Because like, growing up, I was always taught to just, not really talk a lot unless you have something to say or unless you're going to benefit from it. But especially like if you have a problem with somebody, right? You don't really speak like publicly for hours about that person. Like that's like not a characteristic of a man. But I see now people are like, oh, like he's such a man's man. For why is he a man's man? Because he goes on Instagram and talks for an hour about another person. And this happens across the board. Music industry, with every situation. It's like this is a whole culture that has developed. So how do we get here? And what's your thoughts on it?
I think men are the new bitches. Ladies, yes or no? Men gossip way more than like I even have to tell some men like, yo, don't pillow talk. Like it's damn near should be a sin and charge to pillow talk with somebody that you were intimate with. Like that's not the world's business to know. But I think because people are not focused on their careers, their lives, their family, and they're looking for attention online, they're trying to take gossip and turn it into a vehicle for success. I want to knock on the table and let y'all know that gossip industry doesn't pay as well as you think. So once we get done talking about the other situations, we're going to talk about some of the media situations where people are selling their souls for an interview or access to be around certain stuff. Like I think it's happening because men are not comfortable within themselves, and also too they may not have been raised by men. It's a trait that I see a lot too. Like if a man is not raised by men, or you don't have men that will check you, you'll do a lot of bitch ass shit.
No, that's a fact. Well, it's very insightful what you said, and it's a few things. The first thing is that there's a lot of guys out here that's pillow talking.
That's insane.
That's pillow talking with women that they're not having sex with. Right? Riddle me that. You pillow talking with women that you're not even having sex with them. Go figure.
Hey girl.
Right, exactly. But no, you bring up a good point as far as I never forget, like when I was young, I was playing ball, and I was like a kid, like 12 years old, something like that. And it was like, one kid on the team, he was like really, really talented, but he was just like a head case. Like he used to always like argue and catch like, panic attacks. And like, he just was very emotionally unstable. Right. And I remember my dad was talking to one of my other teammates' dad, and he was saying like, yeah, I'm pretty sure like, the kid, he probably don't have a father in his life. And he's taking on the characteristics of women. And I never forget it. I remember that. And that fast forward to even like my son playing, right? And I see like, he was playing on the team before, and these couple kids, and they was like cry babies, always crying, breaking down on the court, and
tantrums. Yeah.
And I just looked at, I started to just observe the situation of the crowd.
Yeah.
And I realized that I never saw their father ever in the crowd.
Yeah.
I only see their mothers, their sisters, and the mothers always like trying to console them and like hold their head, like, no, it's okay, baby.
As they should, but that's why you need the other energy.
So what I'm saying is that was something that was deep. I never really thought about it like that, where it's like, a mother's energy is nurturing, right?
Yep.
And they allow a lot of things that men don't allow. Also, on the behavior side, a lot of times women can be emotional. Right. Not to say that every single woman is emotional all the time.
Yep.
But, women are usually more emotional than men. At least they used to be. So now it's like if you're growing up and this is your visual example of all you're seeing is your mother, your aunts, your grandmother, their friends, right? Now you take on characteristics of what you see, right? It's hard to discipline a son if you're a woman. So now you really have no discipline. You're taking on the emotional characteristics that you're seeing with your mother
by default.
And you have no level of balance because you don't have a father figure in your life, right? And that plays out. And I've seen it. I see it firsthand. Like I said, I was doing a case study. And I'm like, all the kids on my son's team that have fathers, they didn't act like that. All the kids that their father, not all of the kids, but some of the kids whose fathers was not there, they all acted the same. They was all wild, running, crying, uncontrollable, arguing with the coach. And it was like, damn, like that's real. Like, you know what I'm saying? So your point as far as like the men that, because I remember growing up and my mom used to watch like soap operas. And like I remember like Whitney Williams, shout out to her, I hope she, you know, gets better. But Whitney Williams, right? And like gossip used to be a woman's thing, right? It used to be a woman's thing where they would go and they would watch the soap operas, they would watch Whitney Williams, they would watch all of these different programming during the daytime. And, you know, you talk, even like I hear my mom like on the phone with hours and she would talk to her friends about different things. You know what I'm saying? It's like this. That was a characteristic. I never really saw my dad do that. Like I saw my dad like go to work and, you know, you have conversations, but I never seen him talk for hours. Yeah. Never in life saw my dad talk for hours on the phone about another one of his friends or another dude or another, like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was just busy. Like it wasn't something that was even on the radar. But fast forward to today, in this day and age, I'm seeing men, grown men on Instagram, on YouTube, on all of these different platforms talk for hours about other men. And sometimes they talk about women for hours. Right. And so it's just mind boggling to me because I'm like, damn, like this is like a whole generation. And like I said, the sad thing about it is that it's just become normalized and people just like accept it. Like, oh yeah, no, it's cool. Like
it's a new era. Even when April was on last week, like when they got posted up on IG, I had to tell fellas like, stop having negative things to say about women in my comments. You wouldn't have had to do that 15 years ago. Like you're arguing with women in comments about April's post as a woman. This shit makes no. That's why fellas, I know y'all say I be pandering, but there's a crop of men when women get frustrated. I understand why. Even going back to April's like conversation, there's a bunch of women who've been told by their moms, grandmas, and aunties not to get married because it's just not worth it because they got treated like fucking slaves. Like, and the dude's creeping and not taking care of what he was supposed to and not pounding right. Hey, you got too many liabilities on the books, my boy. But
let me talk about one thing too, because you know I have mentioned the polygamy idea a few different times, and I'm obviously not against polygamy. I think that everybody should be able to make an informed decision for yourself. But let me just say this: if you're not in a financial situation to take care of one woman, you shouldn't even be considering having multiple wives or multiple partners, right? Like this not how this thing works. Like you have to like
or if he get her to take care of the whole tribe.
No, but it's not how it works. It's not how it works. There's rules to this, right? You got to be able to take care and provide for everyone equally. And look, stay in your lane, right? Stay in your lane. Let's not try to drive a Ferrari before we get our license, right? Like this
ain't it fun to take a test drive though?
No, but you have to understand that there's levels. There's always going to be levels in life, right?
Yeah.
So, disclaimer for all the guys out there.
Yep.
Be mindful, right? Like let's just be mindful. Take care of your kid first.
Big facts.
Take care of the woman that you're with first. Like there's so many things that you got to figure out first, right? Yeah. Take care of yourself first. Like dudes don't even have nowhere to live trying to get 2 and 3 girlfriends. Like
The hop around play 3
Yeah,
days.
hop around play, man. Like
Check in, check out.
No, that's not the best way to go about it. That's not the best way to go about it, guys. I'm
Yeah.
sorry if you say I'm pandering, whatever. But don't do this. This is not advised. I'm not advising this. Right?
And fellas, I'm telling y'all, 2 or 3 at a time be a lot of work, especially in the same house.
It's not
as much fun as you think.
It's not advisable. It's not advisable for most people. And also, I think that a lot of men never had success with women. And this is why I'm noticing this whole community, there's a lot of animosity towards women online. And I'm realizing that there's a lot of lames, right? So if you're a lame, you can always like hurt people. So you're taking out your anger and your animosity and doing a variety of different things, but that ain't really you. Like, you're not really like that in real life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you've never displayed an ability to cultivate a vibe with women. We gotta be honest, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you've never cultivated.
You can tell in the emotions. Like, even when people are like, yo, like, why y'all talking about the relationship thing? It's the other side of money that you have to talk about, because a lot of y'all fuck off y'all money after you get it on bad relationships or child support. Shout to Fresh and Fit. I don't know how you dropped that bag.
What happened?
He got demonetized and got the little escort girl pregnant. She recorded him like, you don't want to have my baby?
Fresh or Fit?
The
Arab?
Fucked up. No, not him.
Oh, the one from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
He got escort pregnant.
Shout out to the sex workers.
Allegedly, little sex worker. Allegedly.
What are y'all doing? Y'all some fucking lames, yo. What are you doing? Anyway, but ladies, we got our first simp. 2 simps, 2 semis, all 24. I told you, y'all gonna get one. And hook, line, and sinker. Oh. Hey, yeah, Troy. Hey, they got the recording. You don't want to have a baby with me? I mean, you should go take the pill. It's too. I thought you was red pill. You want to go take a pill? Come on, pay the child support, my boy.
Child support is fraud. Where are you when you need them? 1-800.
Come on, ladies, put it in chat. 2 simps, 2 semis. I'm telling you, y'all can get 12, 15,000 a month off of 2 dudes easy. Put that money into NVIDIA, AMD, SMCI. Whew. 5 years, balling out of control. Crazy. Peace and blessings, yo.
Peace and blessings. Shout out to Dr. Umar.
You cannot plant seeds on any land that you don't want, yo.
What are you doing? Doctor.
Shout out to Dr. Umar.
Did you see when the white girl tried to hug him?
No, what happened?
Oh, you ain't see that?
No.
I'm gonna send you the clip. It's a YouTuber, and I guess he was interviewing him. He's black. The YouTuber is black, and his girl came in the middle of the conversation. His girl's white, so he like, yo, I love you so much. He hugged her. So then Umar looking around.
Baby, can you come in here? She's in the building today.
Okay.
I'm gonna introduce her.
What is her ethnicity? What's the other ethnicity? What is the mother is what and the father is what?
Okay, the reason I'm having a hard time is because I don't want to mislabel people.
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby, how you doing? It's nice to see you.
Hi, nice to meet
Good
you.
afternoon, likewise. No hugs, please.
Okay.
And then you come sit right here. Is everything in the shot? You can come sit right here between us.
We having a conversation.
No,
How you?
come on, sit right here. Okay. Yeah. So, come on, we gotta get cozy now, brother. Come on.
No, go ahead.
So I was telling Umar, my issue with you is that you be in the club. You talked about, I don't even know what the term is, swapping or switching partners one time. Like, I just feel like you should be more loyal to me.
But I just feel like I'm more happy whenever I'm out there.
Like, so I'm like, yeah, that was.
That's about to be my move all summer. Just hey, back up.
Please, that's the proper etiquette. I mean, I think that's the proper etiquette for any like I'm not really into like hugging people's girlfriends.
Nah. I give you like the side hug in front of it, like if the guy's there, but to hug intimate.
Yes.
What?
Just the chest.
Come on, that's wild, yo.
Nah,
someone was in your party hugging chest to chest. I'm like, back up off me. You got a whole husband. It ain't that cold here for you to try and get up under my fur. Quit.
Oh man, then they want to go for the kiss on the cheek play.
Stop.
Kiss on the cheek.
Stop.
What's up with these bunkers? Let's get into this conspiracy theory bag. We haven't gotten to the conspiracy theory bag in a little bit. Shout out to 19 Keys.
Yeah.
I noticed as long as you put aliens in a video,
Goes crazy.
so maybe we should talk about aliens.
An ice wall. Yep.
Ice wall.
Government, I don't want no smoke, but whatever y'all got over there, bring the dinosaurs over here. I saw Godzilla with Xander versus who he fight? Somebody, but they talked about the inner world, and I'm like, they're talking some truth about this ice wall. But I think these billionaires know something could potentially happen. I think the first rule for sure is to protect your family at all costs. For everyone in the States, I think you need to have a backup plan if things go awry in the United States of America. I think Shadi and Troy have made it firm that they're going to Ghana. I'm going to Mexico. Viva la raza, you know what I mean? Make my little connections. But I think when Zuckerberg got that bunker built, that sent some shockwaves. And I think others have followed suit because they're not building a bunker on accident. Now, prepping has been a big thing for 25 years. Nothing major has happened. But if something does, I saw one that even literally had a moat with fire on it. I'm like, people are like, why you need all that? You got to keep the zombies off your damn property if shit goes awry. And that movie that was out on Netflix that Barack produced, what's the name of that? The End of the World documentary. It was some foreshadowing there as well. So I think the first rule for your family is you got to protect everybody at all costs. And I think something is going to come that we don't see. And you have to be able to protect those kids no matter what. But what do you think?
Well, let me ask you this: as far as do you think, why would they make it public though? It's one thing to build a bunker, but they're like publicizing that they have bunkers. Why would they do that?
I don't think Zuckerberg made his public. I think the developer probably leaked the info to get some press, because I haven't heard. I went and looked. He hadn't said anything about it. Now some others have, and then Ross said I need to get one, and then people start mentioning stuff. But when Zuckerberg didn't say anything, but he didn't deny it, I said, "Oh shit, it's getting serious."
Well, let's say this. So there's 13,000 atomic bombs in the world in circulation right now, right? 13,000 nuclear weapon atomic bombs.
That's tough.
This is interesting, disturbing on a variety of different levels, right? And there's more. It's an arms race, right? It's like Russia keeps getting more, America keeps getting more, and the theory is that we're stockpiling our nuclear arsenal to never have to use it, right? As a deterrent. But there's only more and more that's getting built, right? So there's 13,000 in world circulation. Now, in a couple of years, it'll be 20,000. In a couple of years, it'll be 30,000. At some point in time,
somebody's gonna be stupid,
or one of them is gonna go missing. Or somebody's gonna get their hands on one, right? Or on the black market. Like, it's almost impossible to have this many nuclear weapon atomic bombs in existence and not think that one can't go off or get missing, or it's going to happen at some point in time, unfortunately, right? So if that's another play as well, where it's like, okay, all it takes is one. Now, if one goes off, now we're in a whole nuclear war.
Yeah.
Right? So
it's a domino effect.
In the event that we actually do go into a nuclear war, where the only place that you actually have any level of comfort in is the sky, which is why they're trying to colonize Mars and all of this. But another is underground.
Yeah.
Right? You gotta go underground. So that's another thing too. I don't think people are really taking into consideration. And it's like we play these war games with Russia and North Korea, and then but it's like that's pretty disturbing that many nuclear weapons are in existence. Right?
And if Doquan or somebody get their hands on one, they'll use it to try and get out of jail. If Sam Bankman-Fried found that fucking atomic bomb before he got sentenced, so they're going to gentrify the Underground Railroad?
Yeah.
It's crazy times we live in, man. And this is not a conspiracy theory. These are facts.
No, these are facts. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
these are absolute facts.
That's a fact. I mean, you could look at. I actually researched atomic bomb number. Like, this is just a fact. Now, it's an opinion that I think that one will go missing, and I hope that I'm wrong in my opinion. But I'm just saying this is just based off of human logic, right? When you have these many weapons in existence.
I mean, they used to like take the Jordans off the train back in the day. You think somebody having taken a nuclear warhead and offered it to somebody? Like, come on, man. Like, government, Pentagon. I don't want to get into war games. I love y'all. Thank y'all for all your support, appreciation, all that you've done to keep the country safe. Yada yada. Got a cake. Don't want that smoke. But the probability is very high. Or even a biodisease weapon. Yeah. The world got shut down over an aggressive respiratory virus.
Yeah,
made in the lab that got what? That got sold.
Greatest story of its all.
Then I want to tell y'all it's bad too. Okay. All right.
What do you think? Okay. 12-year anniversary of Meta.
Yep.
Currently known as Facebook, buying Instagram. Was it one of the biggest steals in history? And the crazy thing about this is that I remember when Instagram first started. And when it first started, it was just for iPhones at first. You couldn't even have it if you had an Android, and it was just pictures. That's what Instagram, right? It was just pictures at first, and I remember it was like one of these, everybody was talking about it, like, oh, yo, it's a new app, Instagram. Da da da. I remember when it first started. I remember, and I also remember when Facebook purchased it for $1 billion. And the CEO was on the cover of, I think it was Forbes, so one of these things, right? And they had an article and they was asking, like, Instagram has no revenue model, has never made $1. And somebody just paid $1 billion for it. Like, do you think that was responsible? He was like, well, technically that's not true. He's like, technically, you saying that it never made $1. It actually just made $1 billion. $1
billion.
Right. But you have to have foresight. It's probably the second best purchase in the last 30 years. I would say Google purchasing YouTube is probably the best.
Okay.
Right. I would say that. I think 700 million. I think they paid 700 million for YouTube.
This is steal.
So I will put that at number one.
Number one, yeah.
But I would put this as number two.
1B, yeah.
So a close number two, because once again you have to have foresight, right? Where this guy Mark Zuckerberg, say what you want about him, he's a genius. You don't reach this level of success by accident.
Yep.
So he has Facebook at the time. Facebook is on fire, right? Yes. Facebook looks unstoppable. This is a business lesson that you should learn for your business. You look for the next thing while you're on top.
Not while you're down. Please say it again.
You look for the next thing while you're already on top. That's something that is very hard to do. Most people are just going to be jaded with their success. They're going to be busy. They think it's going to last forever. And then when they start to go down, now they want to start scrambling, looking for other opportunities. But your leverage is already down. Very few people have enough foresight, enough vision, and enough hunger, desire, and also you got to be slightly paranoid during good times.
Like, absolutely, that's a great lesson.
You can never be like comfortable. So he has enough foresight to say, okay, we are going to need to diversify our portfolio. We're going to need to get younger. We're going to need to add more assets to this than just Facebook. He could have just stayed with Facebook. He purchases Instagram for $1 billion. At the time, they'd never made $1, right?
Yeah. And that's since shockwaves throughout the business world. I remember Jon Stewart making fun of it. CNBC was making fun of it. It was a bad purchase. Mark was still like looked at as like a rebel, if you will. And one of the greatest purchases of all time. I mean, it's worth $100 billion now. You can argue without the purchase of Instagram, Facebook would have had a great decline.
Trouble. It's trouble for sure.
It would have been a new Yahoo.
For sure. So that's one of these business lessons that, man, and he's done it a few times. He actually purchased more for WhatsApp. And they bought WhatsApp for like $3 billion.
Yeah.
And
if you would have got TikTok, oh my God.
Tried to get TikTok. And he's used he's used Instagram as his hitman.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram has essentially become the goon of the Meta empire, right? Because they take out the competition. They're like they're the hired hitman. So when Vine pops up and they become viral and they make 8-second videos, Instagram introduces 10-second videos.
Yep.
When Snapchat comes out and they get the filters and they stories and all of that stuff, Instagram comes out and does the same exact thing, has the filters, adds stories to their portfolio, and essentially kills Snapchat, right?
Yeah, then Snap had the glasses too, and then Meta took that Ray-Ban partnership directly from Snap.
Yep. TikTok, they tried. They haven't been able to dismantle TikTok, but they tried. They took the whole algorithm with the Reels. They did the Reels. They started pumping that, and when they realized that they couldn't kill TikTok completely, they tried to purchase it.
Yeah,
that didn't work.
Government blocked it.
So now they're still in a fight with them, but Instagram has taken out like 3 or 4
big behemoths. Yes, put a lot of pressure on Twitter. I remember at one point Twitter was the hottest thing smoking. Then Instagram got hot. Never gave up that lead. And then the advertising platform, the thing that they've done better than every other social media platform, the advertising platform is brilliant. So to monetize and have that's the new living room. Like back in the day, you used to have like a third place to go to, like a bar or a Starbucks to hang out, basketball court. IG's becoming a third home.
That's a fact.
To eat up that much market share, I don't know any person under 50 that does not spend at least an hour on Instagram a day.
That's a fact.
That's a hell of a market share. Troy said YouTube was purchased for $1.65 billion 15 years ago, and WhatsApp was bought for $19 billion in cash and stock.
Okay.
Two great acquisitions.
Well, how much did they buy YouTube for? 1.5 billion?
1.6 billion, yeah.
Okay. That
was a steal too.
Still a steal.
And if you look at that, YouTube is probably the #1 TV network in all the world.
YouTube would be one of the top companies in the world.
Oh yeah, if it was spun off
on its own.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That revenue is scary.
On its own, it would be one of the top companies in the world. So, yeah.
Speaking of being on top, is this the decline of J. Cole's career? And are you no longer a J. Cole fan after this apology? We won't have to stay on this long, but I think it's a great branding lesson in here.
Sure. We talked about this on Market Mondays, but I just feel like, he has a #1 album in the country off a mixtape. So it's some good news.
Will be the last time.
But, it's one of these things where you don't apologize for battle. You can apologize if you do something wrong, but in a battle, right? You don't apologize. So in business, to make this a teachable moment and a lesson, there's a thing called marketing, right? And Kendrick Lamar is a great marketer. He knows how to. I think he has a project coming out. He knows how to drum up controversy,
attention. Yep.
It's interesting because he would probably be like somebody that you would look at as a very non-controversial person. He's a conscious rapper, right? But he knows how to drum up controversy for himself. And he does that through provoking other people. This is 48 Laws of Power, where he went on the BET Cypher 10 years ago and dissed Drake. He went on that controlled verse for like 5 minutes.
I forgot that was Big Sean's song.
Yeah, on his song. He did, and Jay Electronica was on that song also. He did every single rapper in the world on that song. He comes out now and he disappears, right? It's just, this is something that you learn as far as in the marketing standpoint, is to target the top person, right?
Yep.
And 50 Cent, he's built his whole career off of this. Target the top person, right? And now you're put in a position to actually respond to that. Now, in a response, you have to be aware of your surroundings, the temperatures of the room, different things of that nature, right? So before you respond, you should always think about something 3 times before you do anything, right? This way, if you actually think things through, you won't have to apologize. And it's not directed at J. Cole. It's just J. Cole's an example of this, right? But this goes to a lot of men and women too. Like, stop doing dumb shit and apologizing, especially men. Let's just talk about men for a minute.
Yeah.
This happened to me a few times over the last 8 years.
I ain't mean it like that, bro.
You won't have to apologize if you just stop doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
Right? Because then it's like, oh, damn, bro, my bad. Yo, you know what, bro? I was going through some. No problem. Then 8 weeks later, it's another like, yo, I just want to say I'm sorry, bro. And then 2 months later, after just don't call me no more, right? Because it's a habit, and you keep doing the same thing over and over again. So, like I said, this isn't necessarily directed to J. Cole, but it's just in general a life lesson. Think about what you're doing before you're doing it, and you'll save yourself the embarrassment of having to apologize after you make a fool of yourself. And I've personally seen this with people, right?
Yep.
They just act off of emotion. That's another thing. Men are extremely emotional these days, and they're doing things that's just stupid. I seen Slim Thug have put a post up that was really good. And he was like, a lot of dudes are not gangster. They're just emotional.
Yeah, that's very true.
Gangster, like, you know what I'm saying? You just go and somebody step on your sneaker and you want to shoot them in the head type shit. Yeah. And it's like you just have no control over your emotions at all. And you're just like a wild animal. Like, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't make you gangster. That just means that you're stupid and you have no emotional intelligence and that you're just out of control emotionally. Right? Like, because then when you come down from that, you're gonna be like, damn, I shouldn't have done that.
That's stupid.
Like, if you was really gangster, it's like you would have no emotion. You would do it and just accept this is what I've done. I've thought about this. I've rationally thought this through, and I'm willing to deal with the consequences, right? So that's another thing. Like, being emotional that doesn't make you manly. It doesn't make you a G. It doesn't make you somebody that's like really about that life. It only really just makes you an idiot, right? Yeah. So the teachable moment from this to me is to think things through, right? At least 3 times before you do something. Consult with others, get their opinion, consult with people that are actually smart and wise. Don't just consult with anybody. Yeah. Consult with a wise counsel. Get their opinions. And then when you actually do something, live with that decision that you made.
Consequence, yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Live with the decision. So, if we could learn anything from that, from me, that would be my teachable moment in this situation. But like I said, shout out to Cole. He's super dope. He's, everybody makes mistakes, but I think that's just something that we can just learn from in general, since this is a big moment and it's on, social media and everybody's talking about it.
Other side of it is, if you want to defend your brand, your fans can defend your brand. I'm not gonna lie to you. I went back and played that Might Delete Later, the whole feature run. It's hard to listen to that shit now. You popped all that shit for 4 years about one of the title, then you get to it and now you back away. Listen, when we had all our previous wars with who shall not be named, and y'all in the ground now, bam, thank God, spit it to Santo, right? Muerta. Over with for you. Listen, if I didn't defend Red Panda, how could they stand behind me and defend me? You couldn't. Yeah. So I love you don't want black on black violence, but you popped your shit for 5. And now the big 3 probably is Future, Drake, and Kendrick. You're out of that race. It's gonna J. Cole money. Straight shout to everybody at Dreamville. Appreciate you. Punch, I owe you an apology. Reason, I owe you an apology. Man, I didn't want to do this. But if you want to defend your brand, who will?
It's gonna be tough.
That's like when guys be like, yo, my girl don't believe in me. I'm like, you gotta believe in you so much that even if she don't, it don't fucking matter.
Fact.
Any girl who didn't believe in me, I'm still here and there. I appreciate you. Yeah, I think you're amazing. Thanks for the time we spent together, the love you poured into me, and all the time we shared together. They're still where they are. It is what it is. Cole, I'm heartbroken and disappointed in this.
Yeah, I am.
Tupac would never, Biggie would never, X would never, Beanie Siegel would never. The fuck are we doing?
Jadakiss, Nas, Snoop Dogg.
What?
This is the era.
Helter Skelter win at Tupac.
This is the era.
This
is the era, man. This is the era. My son made a good point where he was like, There's warriors and there's gladiators, right? And if you watch the movie Troy, Achilles, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. And Achilles, Brad Pitt, I think he did a tremendous job in that. And Hector, right? Hector was a warrior, and he was a skilled fighter. But Achilles was a gladiator.
Yeah.
And that's why when Hector was trying to ration, it was just like, and Achilles' whole thing was like, we go into war, and either we win or we die.
Yeah, there's no in between.
It ain't no retreat, no surrender, no retreat. You can't even fathom what that looks like, right? Where Hector's is a skilled, and he might actually retreat, right? Because he said, okay, that's one of the people where it's like, live to fight another day. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that type of, because you'll actually live longer with that type of mentality, right? But you can't go in the Coliseum
with that.
If you can't stay in the perimeter. Stay with the generals. Like stay with the generals. Stay.
Yep.
When you go into the Coliseum and you amongst the pit of gladiators, there's no
in between, yo.
No in between. There's no trying to work things out. There's no backtracking. There's no dip your foot in, dip your foot out. No, it's not. Yeah. It's not what it is. So Cole is a warrior. He is a warrior. And
shout out to Dreamville because there's some gladiators on that team.
He's a skilled warrior.
Yeah.
But that kid from Compton is a gladiator. I gotta give it to him. I'm not even the biggest Kendrick Lamar fan. I'm not.
It made me like that song more. I played that shit 3 times in the gym today.
He never ran away from conflict, and that boy is different, man. He's really about that. Like when he said, "Yo, I'll battle Melly Mel if I have to."
That's fire.
Like awesome. Like I don't give a fuck. Like, cool. I'll battle Melly Mel if I have to.
I love it.
Burning tattoos. Like that boy's brain is different, man. Like you talking about you going to battle Melly Mel. Like this is the grandfather of hip hop. Like that's how I say. Like he like, yo, I want that throne so bad.
Yep.
Anybody you put in front of me is getting dismantled. I don't care who it is. I'll battle Melly Mel if I have to.
Respect it.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the difference. That's the difference between dudes trying to figure out if their beat is correct. If let me wait, let me get the R&B singer on it to make that, like let me get the ad lib, let me get my promo run ready. Nah.
Nah. Sequence as well. And going back to the Apple versus Microsoft similar battle, when Apple was battling on Microsoft, this is a PC, this is a Mac. They were thriving off money that they got from Bill Gates and still win at Microsoft. These are real wars. BlackBerry at one time was Apple. That's why I be so big on Apple making a few mistakes. I'm like, let's catch this shit before it be 5 quarters bad. At one point, if I would have told you in 2001 that BlackBerry was going to go under, you would have laughed me out of Credit Suisse.
Yeah,
get your black ass out of here. Like, what are you talking? No, almost, it's like Instagram falling, and then BlackBerry. Slow decisions make, and here comes Steve Jobs and the iPhone. The next big thing is always coming, and if you're not on an outlook for what to do better, but to defend that brand at all costs, it can be over with. Ja Rule went down.
Facts.
Like, come on, man. What are we talking about?
Shout out to Ja. What's your biggest pet peeve in business?
People who don't constantly innovate. I think in business. Because like when I started being an entrepreneur, it was 03. Before Get Rich or Die Trying came out, Wankster was like playing. I had 50 Cent as the future. I think people take this business climate for granted. I love the success that we're having as a culture. I love that Black women are leading the charge in entrepreneurship. But businesses are going to fucking die from not innovating. So my thing is like when you're not constantly pushing that's what I love about Blackout. They never saw this coming. They thought the next thing was going to be trading or the international business show or textile. No, let's get to the messy shit and show you we can do that too. Now, once we figure out the arbitrage on that, because we got the media part down, Adam, we ain't going to do what you're doing, right? Bong, bong. Now we got this, and now we can navigate different lanes. I think people need to find ways to constantly innovate or you're going to go out of business. And I know 2020 made it easy. But when you got it to a point where people are like willing to kill over a bad business review, goofy as fuck. crazy. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I think people need to innovate at a higher clip because the world is changing. I don't think we're remembering. We're 1 year away from being a quarter into a new century. 2025 to 2035 is going to look dramatically different.
Facts.
Going to look dramatically different. So that's my biggest pet peeve is when people don't innovate fast enough. What about you?
Treason is
No way. Go ahead.
treason is a crime that
Worse
universally
than death.
is punishable by death. So treason, and this happens real time. Like I remember we did a story on Wetbo. It was Google's flying car, self-driving car, or one of these. Google had taken Uber's scientists, or maybe vice versa, but they pretty much gave them the blueprints, opened up the books, gave them all the information and everything. This goes back to Benedict Arnold. There's always a traitor.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't, it's one thing not to trust somebody, right? But it's a different level of just nastiness when somebody actually crosses enemy lines. Like when you cross enemy lines, like I said, Benedict Arnold, right? Like when you cross enemy lines and you go into the world of treason, you not only have disappointed your comrades in arms that you actually fought with, but you disappointed yourself. Like I could have never imagined, even if I hated like the person, right? I could never go across enemy lines. And give them secrets and talk and provide information and open up the playbook and like
hurt feelings. Okay, then let me give the devil's advocate. Can a leader do something that would make a person be treasonous?
I just could speak for myself, right? I could
your own integrity.
I could never commit treason. I could, if I have a falling out with somebody, I might go off on them. I might fight them. Like me and that person might have real issues. Right. And that we might have some real issues that we have to resolve on a certain level. But for me to know, because what treason is that it's not like you're friends with the other side, right? They were your opposition because you were on this side, right? It's like America and Russia. Like Russia is America's opposition, right? And it's like now you have fallen out with generals and you find a way to go to Moscow and you become an informant. You become an informant and a mule. Because they're never going to respect you. That's the thing about being a treasonist, whatever you would call it. That it's like kind of being a snitch almost in a sense where the person that you're going back telling secrets to, they don't really respect you because they're looking at you like, damn, bro, like
I can't trust you.
Exactly. And then you've disappointed your comrades. So now you're kind of in, it's like a man of no country, right? Like you really have no country at this point in time. You've betrayed the trust of your comrades. You have no honor amongst the people that you ran to. So when you look yourself in the mirror, I just wonder, like, what would you see? Would you see a man? Would you see a scoundrel, a rat, maybe?
Some people just get hurt and want revenge, man. It happened with Putin and Prigozhin. They was best of buddies. And then Prigozhin got on that plane. That shit got shot right out the sky.
But that also goes back to not having father figures, right? And not knowing how to properly deal with your emotions and being surrounded with that's an emotional response. I want revenge and I don't know how to deal with this properly. Let me just do this. Let me do some wild shit, right? Like that's
it happens.
That's not how we deal with things as men. Not how we deal with things as men, right? This goes back to you gotta take care of your children, man. Like you gotta really be in your child's life. Because if you're not in your child's life, there's so many things.
That's the reverberating effects.
And you don't gotta be like the best teacher, but a child's gonna pick up things just by being around you, right?
Being present.
You don't even gotta say a lot to them. They'll just look at your behavior and they'll mimic your behavior. They'll mimic your behavior. Like I said, like even that conversation that my dad had with somebody else's dad, and I was like, 25 years ago, but I still remember that. That wasn't something that he was telling me, but I was just observant enough to hear that conversation, and I remembered the conversation. And now I have my own son, and I'm seeing what he said, and I'm like, damn, that's actually really true. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, this parenting thing, we talk about this a lot, but it's real because it's like,
It's important.
you don't understand the effects. You're not just hurting your child when you decide to be a deadbeat. You're actually hurting society, and as a result, you're hurting me, right? Because I got to deal with this shit, right? So it's like I'm just saying, like, your mess, it's a domino effect. It's a ripple effect, right? Your mess.
It is. Yeah. The community. Yep.
You're polluting the whole entire atmosphere. And then the women got to deal with this because they got to, like, and it goes vice versa, right? Like, even women that don't have fathers in their life, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole ecosystem that gets affected by this. So be mindful, because it's like your decisions are bigger than just you. They're bigger than just your child. They actually have a ripple effect on society. And this is what we're seeing in 2024 with all of this behavior is the destruction of family, right? And it's the destruction of masculine intelligence. I like to say masculine intelligence, because a lot of times people say like masculine energy, and it's like masculine energy is like just bench pressing 400 pounds or beating somebody up. What is masculine intelligence, right? Masculine intelligence is like, okay, like, you have the intelligence of a man, right? Like, I could resort to violence, but that's the weakest form of conflict resolution. The easiest and weakest form of conflict resolution is physical violence, right? Like, that's something that anybody can do. Like, it takes an intelligent person to diffuse a situation or to remove a situation or to maneuver people in the right point without having to lay a hand on somebody, without having to physically assault somebody, without having to verbally, abuse somebody, right? Like, so what does masculine intelligence look like in 2024, especially for Black people? That's something that we got to really think about, right? As far as like, pushing intelligence, pushing a new agenda of, having understanding and not just looking at things from a very barbaric level.
Yeah, I hope we can get some resolution. But the way it's looking on Justin LeBoy and Shade Room page, I don't know. Also, we got to blame the media at some point for this. I know no one's ever going to have a change or no laws are going to be passed, but I think certain conversations or certain kind of responses should be automatically blocked. But media is going to be media, so that they don't care about the community as much as they would say. I do have a last question for you. How do you deal with hate, and what are some things we can do to? Because I think the other side of it is we don't talk about what the things that we can do to cause the hate to come to us. Like, I know I'll be obnoxious to the motherfucker sometimes. Like, when I get in my little war bag, oh baby.
Now you got to be self-aware.
Yep.
Right? And hate, and this goes back to having emotional intelligence. Hate is confused admiration, but it's also hate usually has some simmer of truth to it. It's an embellishment of something that's usually somehow true, somehow, for the most part.
Gotcha.
So it's like, even for me, right? Like, I'm like, okay, if you notice, I haven't done a drip report in months because I realized it was causing too much negative attention, and it was stirring the pot, and it was leading unnecessary conversations, right?
Gotcha.
So I said, okay, I am into fashion. Everybody knows that, but maybe it's not the best idea to fully document my outfits. Right? It's just a time, and it might be not
time and place.
Might not be the best time. So I said, okay, I'll take the criticism. I'll take it. And I haven't done that, in a while, right? Because I understand that you can't give opposition fuel.
Absolutely.
Can't give opposition fuel. And it was like, no, I spoke to other people, and they was like, nah, fuck that. Like, keep doing it. I'm just like, I could take that approach, but that would be more of a pride and ego thing of me just kind of
not worth it.
And it's like, at the end of the day, it's not even worth it. It's really not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have to compromise certain things for the greater good of the ecosystem, right? So it was like, that is one particular thing where I feel like hate, look at the hate, right? Take yourself out of it, look at it, and see how you can kind
Be
of
better from it.
pivot in. Yeah, because every hater is admiring from afar, right? But sometimes it's like you are providing pain for them based off of what you have and what they don't have, right? And it's painful. So even have a certain level of humility to understand that, where it's like there's people struggling, right? So maybe it's not the best idea.
Not in best taste, yep.
Maybe it's not the most tastefully done thing, right?
Yeah.
So have enough understanding, wisdom to say, okay, I receive this information that you're giving me, even if it's in a dysfunctional way that you're communicating it, and it's toxic.
Yep.
It's toxic, and it's meant to be hurtful. But I have enough emotional intelligence to rise above this and not take it personal. That's one of the 4 agreements, not to take anything personal. I won't take this personal. I'll learn from it, and I'll be a better person from it. So I think that's how you deal with hate. You take it in, but you can't hold it in, because then that's a very toxic thing to have in your behavior.
Yeah.
Take it in, and then you throw it back out. But you take the good things, you take some level of criticism, and you learn from it.
Yeah. I love that. Even with Blackout, when people was like, yo, we missed the craziness, that pineapple juice. It's like, all right, cool. Here come Blackout. If they would have just let me talk my shit on Market Mondays, it wouldn't have been a spinoff show. So even with the Drip Report, it's like, shit, Fashion Bomb Daily, E-News. You never know. Like, my thing is to always try not to, like, be in a place of peace and to not give people reasons to hate. Like, even with like when Square didn't work out. As soon as I saw they wanted my head over, I'm like, over one thing, 4 corners. Cool. Apple, Microsoft, VO, VTI. Why you keep talking about the same one? Because you showed me you wouldn't want my head on the fucking platter. So one loss, I get condemned like I'm Kramer. Oh, okay. Let me shut up then. Shawty, we playing 4 quarters, bro.
Yeah.
Cool. This is your Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Shiba. Go ahead. Cool. Y'all pick.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great lesson in business. You have to learn how to turn the hate into an asset that works for you. And thanks to everybody who's done market research for me these last 3 or 4 years. I appreciate you.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another glorious episode of Blackout.
From some cultural leaders.
For sure.
And when I pop out,
we might be having some surprises with this Blackout situation. Maybe in-person experience.
Yes.
Or 2. It's called Stay Tuned.
Yes.
So,
ladies, we're going to line up the Simps for you. Can we do like a 20 versus 1 for the Simps and line them up?
Speed dating.
One of y'all going to get paid, ladies. Hey, if one of y'all make $1 million off Blackout, I'm going to be so happy.
That's 10% commission is all I ask for.
Facts. And perpetuity. Perpetuity.
The perpetuity play.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been real. We will see you guys next week. Thank you for rocking with us. Love, love, love.
Love y'all.